Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We'll get started in a few minutes, so you have some time now to settle in. And meanwhile, we will be sharing a few congratulatory messages that we've received from our chapters and members worldwide. Thank you all for sending in your wishes. And can we have the messages now?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's go ahead and get started now. Good morning or good evening, depending on where you're located. Thank you once again for joining us today. We're super excited to have you at our event at this launch of the Chicago chapter of the ICAI. It is the sixth US chapter and the 40th one globally. Also, just a reminder, we will be recording this event. You're watching us live on YouTube, but if some of your friends have missed it, please feel free to share this link so they can catch up at their convenience. So I'm Anamika Roy, Events Director of our soon-to-be launched Chicago chapter and your MC for today. And on behalf of our entire ICAI Managing Committee, I welcome Dr. C.A. Debashish Mitra, VP ICAI, C.A. Nihar and Jambusaria, President ICAI, His Excellency Mr. Amit Kumar Gupta, General Counsel of India, Joint Secretary Mahavir Singhvi, our esteemed speakers, Mr. John Gimbert, Ms. Dory McWhorter, Mrs. Shweta Bed, our ICI SFO colleague and mentor Vish Arunachalam, and all our attendees today. It's a pleasure to have you all with us on this glorious occasion. Now we'll begin with the lamp lighting ceremony, and after that we'll play the national anthems of the US, India, and our ICI song. Can we have the lamp lighting ceremony video, please? Thank you. May I now request you to all to please stand up while the national anthem is being played?
Through
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा। विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा। तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे। गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
जयेश सुप्तेषु जागृति जयेश सुप्तेषु जागृति। कामं 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 पुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमानः निर्विमानः। तदेव शुक्रं तदेव शुक्रं ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा। तदेवामृतमुच्यते पुरुषो निर्विमानः निर्विमानः। तदेव शुक्रं ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा। तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः श्रुतः सर्वे तदूनायति कश्चन यतद्वैतं 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 यतद्वैतं।
Thank you. With that, I would now like to introduce our Vice President, ICAI, Dr. Debashish Mitra. Dr. Mitra has been recently elected as the Vice President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for the year 21-22. After being part of the Central Council for the period 2016 to 2019, Dr. Mitra is serving his second consecutive term for the Council for the period 2019 to 22. With great vigor and enthusiasm, he has been serving the accounting profession for more than 34 years. Dr. Mitra, a senior practicing member, is also a cost accountant, company secretary, holds a master's degree in commerce, law graduate, and a qualified information systems auditor. With his keen interest in academic research, he is also a doctorate in the complex and intriguing area of accounting standards and has been awarded his PhD on the topic of critical study of select Indian GAAP, US GAAP, IAS, and IFRS. Well, Dr. Mitra, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Anamika. Just like you, I am also very super excited. I think you said, you used those words. To everybody here, a very, very good morning. And see a very good evening from India. The President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Nihat Jambusaria. The Honorable Mr. Amit Kumar, Honorable Consul General of India, Chicago. Our good friend, and whom we take as one of us, Mr. C.A. Mahavir Singhvi, Joint Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs, Vish Arunachalam, Founder, Chairman, and Director, San Francisco Chapter. And of course, we have the three speakers, Deori McWhorter, John Gimpet, and Shweta Bed. And two gentlemen whom I can see beaming on the screen, Gaurav Jain, who is the Founder Chair, and Hemant Kumar, the Vice Chair. And of course, Anamika, thank you very much for your kind words about me. A few words, since Sir is here, Mr. Amit Kumar is here, a few words about the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Set up under an Act of Parliament on 1st of July 1949, Sir, we are the second largest accounting body in the world. We have about 350,000 membership. Our student strength will be more than 800,000 at the present moment. We have about 164 branches in India. And you see, we also have chapters abroad. The Chicago chapter will be our 6th chapter in US and the 48th overseas chapter of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. We have presence in 67 cities in the world, 40 chapters and 27 representative offices. So as we are a huge monolith organization, and it is always a great pleasure, sir, when we have a chapter being formed overseas. Just a few days back, we had 2 representative offices formed in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. Before that, I have had the pleasure of addressing a Netherlands chapter. So the institute at the present moment, because it is set up under an Act of Parliament, we take a great pride in being a partner in nation building. When the Prime Minister talks about Atmanirbhar Bharat, Institute is always siding with those thoughts and the vision of the government of India. Sir, when GST came about, and a generation of chartered accountants who were predominantly direct tax practitioners adapted themselves to the challenge and became indirect tax practitioners. And sir, you see, in 2018, the Honorable Prime Minister of India wrote to the then President of the Institute saying that GST in India could not have been successful without the chartered accountants. Sir, now we have the pandemic striking us since last year. And at the Institute, sir, we have this continuing professional. As soon as CPE, continuing professional education programs, are usually done in person. As soon as the pandemic struck, we again decided to rise up to the challenge, adapt ourselves, and we became totally virtual, sir. Today, the examination system, the correction system in the examination is totally digital. We have, programs, the continuing professional education programs with thousands attend, and these programs have also become digital. Today, sir, in the morning, I had an occasion to address a program where we were, doing a diploma course along with Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management, Mumbai, and the course is on general management and finances. And in the course of discussion, the issue of artificial intelligence or AI came about. And sir, I had the great pleasure and pride to tell the Director Jamnalal Institute of Management Sciences, Mumbai, that at the Institute, we have this Digital Accounting and Assurance Standards Board, which is doing a huge amount of research on AI, the artificial intelligence and blockchain, and trying to get our members ready to face the challenge of technological disruption. Sir, we have kept aside an amount of minimum 30 crore rupees this time to develop audit tools for the membership. Now, these audit tools are data analytic tools, which we want, to be given to the members maybe free of cost, so that the members can adapt themselves to a changing time where technology will be all pervasive. So the other day, somebody also told us that, the institute or the members must also lay stress on the investigation, fraud detection, they said. They said that you have to be a bit of a bloodhound. Sir, you see, on this also, we are now developing the forensic standards. Institute of Chartered Accountants of India will be first to develop these forensic standards. And we hope to come out with the forensic standards in a few months' time, which will be applicable across the country. So you see, at the Institute, we are not only talking about financial audit, we are also talking about non-financial audit. Consequently, last year we set up this Sustainability Reporting Standards Board, which talks about sustainability reporting standards. Being concerned about the audit quality, we have also put up this audit quality indicators, which are going to be introduced in a very short period of time. I can see a younger lady like Anamika listening to me with maybe a bit of a wide eye because of the changes that are going to take place. But you see, please note, I would like to think that Gaurav Jain should be also concerned because the changes will be so huge, and the institute will do everything possible to ensure that you adapt yourself to the changes, because we have to change with the changing times. We have to change with the changing times. But now coming back to this program, you see, we are so happy that Chicago chapter is being formed. And we will do everything possible from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India to see that the chapter runs successfully, and to see that the ideals of the institute is propagated at the chapter. When I talk about the ideals of the institute, I am talking about three words which mean a lot in the corridors of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Three words: ethics, integrity, ethics/integrity, independence, excellence. I hope that the chapter, the members of this chapter, would ensure that these words become part of them, and that they do everything possible to keep the flag of the profession and the flag of the institute and the flag of the country flying very, very high. We have had very close relationship with US, and I'm sure you will do everything possible to see that that relationship continues. With these words, I wish this chapter great success in all its future endeavors, and thank Mr. Amit Kumar and Mr. Mahavir Singhi and all the other dignitaries for their kind presence amongst us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Devasiji. Thank you for your kind words.
Thank you, Dr. Mitra. It was a pleasure hearing from you, especially on the technical disruptions and data analytics and all the other areas that the Institute is working on to help us get equipped with the updated standards and to keep ourselves abreast of the changing technology and the changing landscape. So thank you so much. With that, I would like to now call upon our recently elected president, ICAI, Mr. Nihar Jambusaria, who is a fellow chartered accountant from Mumbai, in practice for nearly 27 years. A man of profound wisdom, vision, and strong organizational skills, with a firm belief in all-round inclusive growth of Indian chartered accountancy profession. C. Nihar N. Jambusaria has been elected as the new president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for the year 2021 to 22, wherein he is currently serving his third consecutive term since 2013. C.A. Jambusaria is also a member of the Professional Accountants in Business, PAIB, and the advisory group of the International Federation of Accountants. He, in his capacity as the president of ICAI, is representing ICAI on International Integrated Reporting Council and the board of the South Asian Federation of Accountants. He also has served as a member of SAFA Committee on Professional Accountants in Business. With his focus on innovation and niche enablement, he intends to translate his passion for the inclusive growth of the profession to his transformational agenda that the current paradigm merits. Please welcome C.A. Nihar Jambusaria ji.
Thank you, Anamika, for the very generous introduction. and you are handling and have set the ball rolling very well. So, Honorable Consul General of India to USA, Shri Amit Kumar ji, uh, Honorable Vice President of the Institute, CA Dr. Debasis Mitra, CA Gaurav Jain, the founder chairman of the Chicago chapter. I am calling you founder chairman even before the inauguration ceremony is over, because the ceremony is just instrumental. So let me call you not chairman elect, but founder chairman. Uh, the vice chairman of Chicago chapter, Hemant Kumarji, CM Mahavir Singhvi, about whom we always say that although he is a joint secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs, but he is always part of us. And whenever there is any effort on international front, he is the first person to come forward and help the institute and show the way forward. And I will also speak about it little later, how he facilitated the existence of these chapters in the foreign countries. CA Vish Arunachalam, another person who is behind all efforts in USA. He and his team in San Francisco is always very helpful to us, and he's seeing that he establishes a good presence across USA, and we are also thinking of having a national office in USA with many bylaws and formalities done. Today's very learned speakers, Mr. John Gifford, Mr. Reddy, Mr. Dori, Ms. Sweta, and all the dignitaries who are present. Very good morning to all of you, and thank you for being present timely, and for inauguration of this chapter also very timely, in the sense that let me give you a little background of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India's presence in the US. We opened the first chapter in New York in 2008. And after that, for about 9 years, probably even we were not that active. Even that chapter was also doing its activities in its own way. And in 2017, we opened second chapter in San Francisco, of which V. Sarunachalam is the founder chairman. And after that, within just 3 years, last year, in Atul Guptaji's time, when we interacted with the San Francisco chapter, it took initiative and took efforts to connect with the chartered accountants in different parts of US. And you can see now, if we have the list of all these chapters, then we have now 5 chapters already, 4 chapters opened, one yet to open on 22nd May. We had 5 representative offices opened on 4th July 2020. And these were in Houston, New England region, Washington, DC, Chicago, and Dallas. Out of which Houston, New England region, and Washington, DC have already become chapters. And Chicago and Dallas, Chicago is opening today, and Dallas will be inaugurated on 22nd May. There is some difference between a representative office. We introduced new concept last year itself, that if there are 5 members in a city, a representative office may be opened. It will not have all the benefits of a chapter. But when there are 25 members, this rep office be converted into chapter. And very quickly, within a period of less than a year, these 5 rep offices have met with the requirement of 25 chapters. And that is how these 4,000 chartered accountants in USA, we will try to connect them, bring them on the same platform, and do everything from here for the Indian chartered accountants there At the same time, we would expect that these chartered accountants help the country in having some foreign investments in India. If somebody from India wants to invest there, they would be helpful. And at the same time, they will have a common platform to interact with each other. For the Consul General of India to USA, it is a good news that at your disposal, there are so many chapters and you can look upon them for anything that you want to get done for the country or you want to get done in the US. They will be always available to you at your disposal. If I inform you about the functions that these chapters generally undertake, the overseas chapters are extended arms of the institute. ICAI chapters not only promote brand Indian chartered accountants, but they also act as gateway to promote career opportunities to those who want to migrate to the respective country. The overseas chapters provide forum for Indian CAs, a common platform to grow, interact, and share the knowledge. In July 2020, with Mahavir Singhviji's efforts, the Ministry of External Affairs Government of India recognized ICAI chapters to be treated at par with other apex trade and industry organizations for the purposes of economic engagement, consular facilitations, such as issue of passports and attestation of commercial documents. So this is the benefit that the ministry brought for the chapters, and I'm sure the chapters will make complete use of it. The Vice President explained to you what are our activities, particularly during last 1 year. And if you look at any country, technology is at the forefront in the mind of any institute in the world. And although over last 4 to 5 years, we were seized of the impact of technology on all professions, particularly artificial intelligence, data analytics, and we were promoting this. But since last year, after the pandemic broke out, and we had no option but to interact virtually, I think whatever damage it has caused to the economies of the world, but it has brought one advantage. See, sitting here, if everything was physical, probably with US, we would have expected whenever it is possible to be present there physically, we'll see how a chapter can be opened. But virtually, we could open 5 chapters. We could interact so frequently. Even on technical subjects, we have interacted so frequently, exchanged views, and we have all benefited from it. And we expect that we use this technology very gainfully, and in future also we get connected as if we are part and parcel of the same country. Now I think territorial boundaries have almost vanished, and we must make full use of technology to interact frequently and benefit from each other. So with this, I would make special mention of the efforts of Vish Arunachalam. Please be as active as you are today and try to coordinate all these chapters. With all these chapters, I'm sure that we are also planning to have 5 more rep offices in the US. And now with this 40th chapter, our wish to have 100 chapters by 2024 will come true. And when we have presence in other countries of the world, I would rather say that even US chapters should interact with the other chapters. And like last year, this year also, in the month of May, I'm planning to have meetings of a few chapters together so that you also know each other, come together, and you interact with each other. One more effort which Vish and his team in San Francisco and other parts of USA has taken is the course with HBS, that is Harvard Business School, that we are trying to negotiate. It will be a very useful course for all professional chartered accountants. I'm sure our dream will come true, and that course will be available for the benefit of all in every part of the world. So with this, even to Consul General, I'm sure that you have got so many chartered accountants there, but whenever required, even the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India will be at your disposal to do anything for the country and for whatever help you may need from all of us. Thank you so much. And my best wishes to this chapter. I'm sure without my mentioning, this chapter will be very active, and any support needed from the Institute, we are at your beck and call and always available. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Sorry, I was muted. So thank you so much, Mr. Jambusarya. Your passion for supporting the ICAI initiatives and your encouragement, I'm sure, will take us far. We now have CA Mahavir Singh Ji, Joint Secretary of External Affairs. Currently, he is serving as the Joint Secretary, Counterterrorism, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, and represented India on several international forums during his various assignments and his diplomatic service. He was appointed to the elite Indian Foreign Service in the year 1999. CA Singhvi is one of the most qualified bureaucrats serving the Government of India at present. He has been educated and trained at some of the world's finest institutions, including the University of Oxford, UK, IIM Ahmedabad, LBS NAA Missouri, ICAI, and Delhi University. We welcome CA Mahavir Singh Ji to come and say a few words and grace the occasion.
Thank you, Anamika. That's a very generous introduction. Thank you very much for that. It's always indeed a great pleasure for me to participate in the Institute's functions. And being an alumni, I always feel proud that Institute is progressing far and wide across the world. Consul General of India, Sri Amit Kumarji, President of the Institute, Sri Nihar Jambusarya ji, Vice President Devashish Mitra ji, Vish Arunachalam ji, Office Bearers of Chicago Chapter, Gaurav Jain ji, Hemant ji, guest speakers of today. At the outset, let me congratulate you for making this effort and this event possible among this deadly pandemic to mark the inauguration of this ICAI's Chicago chapter. That's a wonderful, I think, initiative, and I must compliment you for that. This is truly an important milestone in the journey of ICAI. As already been pointed out, that we now have 40 overseas chapters and almost a similar number of representative offices across the world. And as President of the Institute said, that the goal which has been set to have almost 100 offices of ICAI around the world by 2024 is, I think, is very likely to come in very soon in the near future. India and US, of course, Consul General will mention about this in greater detail, have very strong relationship in all the sectors. With opening of this chapter, I think you would be instrumental in further strengthening the relationship between India and USA. As already been pointed out by both Vice President and the President, Institute now has almost 50,000 members abroad and a membership of more than 350,000 qualified chartered accountants around the world. It is important to bring them together, link them with each other, and synergize their collective efforts, and not only for the profession, but also, I think, for the country as a whole. Most of you who are abroad are in a very good position. Also in India, they are in very good position and can contribute immensely in nation's progress and growth. As you recall, our former President Abdul Kalam once said that chartered accountants have an important role in the nation building. The Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, said that chartered accountants are the ambassadors of the economy. I think CAs therefore can have a very great role in shaping the country's growth trajectory. Currently, as you all know, we are seeing an extraordinary level of turmoil all around the world due to the pandemic. Situation in India, of course, after the second wave has become really grim, and it has affected everyone, not only the health system, the infrastructure, businesses, everything has been affected, individual lives. I think that is something which we all need to overcome. And we are all looking for a speedy, recovery out of it in terms of economic growth, in terms of business environment, and all other similar activities. I believe that the Indian Chartered Accountants who are residing and working abroad has an important role to play in this particular, kind of efforts which we are all making. You can help in bringing investment in India, promote Indian industry abroad, help in facilitating mergers and acquisitions, and bringing new technologies and processes into India. You can also create a positive outlook and image for brand India. The Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan and the Budget 2021 has laid the foundation for strong economic recovery for India and making India a $5 trillion economy in due course. We would be very happy to see you contributing in this endeavor. Ministry of External Affairs has already been pointed out by the President, has recognized all ICAI chapters abroad at par with industry organizations like FICCI and CII. As President has mentioned, that this means that you will have benefits in terms of consular facilitations, attestation of documents, economic engagement, and I hope that you would utilize this opportunity to the greatest extent possible to contribute not only to your own development but to the development of India. I think these times, which are extraordinary in terms of the kind of problems which we are facing, I think we all need to be together. We all need to contribute to the, in whatever way possible, or to come out of this pandemic. I think you would all be looking at it in a positive way, that how you can contribute. Our embassies and consulates abroad would be very happy to work with you. And we hope that by working together, we can certainly come out of this crisis and lead our country in the right direction to a future growth, into a future growth trajectory. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you once again. It's a great pleasure for me always to participate in the Institute's efforts and Institute's functions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahavirji. We now welcome His Excellency, Mr. Amit Kumar, Consul General of Chicago. His Excellency is a career diplomat who joined the Indian Foreign Service in 1995. He has wide-ranging experience, having served in headquarters and in several Indian missions abroad. He has dealt with both bilateral and multilateral work in diverse areas such as political, strategic, and economic spheres. Prior to taking up his current assignments as the Consul General of India in Chicago, he was the Deputy Chief of Mission in the Embassy of India, Washington, D.C., with ambassador rank. His recent assignments included stints as Joint Secretary for the Development Partnership Administration and as Joint Secretary for Human Resources Management in the Ministry of External Affairs, New Delhi. He was also Deputy Chief of Mission at the Embassy of India in Tokyo. He has previously served under Secretary China and Director in the Foreign Secretary's Office in New Delhi. His overseas assignments include stints in a number of key capitals as Third Secretary in the Embassy of India, Beijing, First Secretary dealing with political work in the Embassy of India, Berlin, First Secretary, Consular dealing with political information, culture, and educational work at the Embassy of India, Ankara, Counselor and Head of the Economic and Commercial Wing in the Embassy of India, Beijing, and Counselor Minister dealing with Third Committee and UNSC matters in the Permanent Mission of India to the United States, New York. Ambassador Kumar holds a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur. Please welcome His Excellency Amit Kumarji.
Thank you very much, Anamika, for that introduction. let me acknowledge Mr. Nihar in Jambusaria, the President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Mr. Mahavir Singhvi, my esteemed colleague from the Ministry of External Affairs, whom I had the fortune of knowing before we joined the Foreign Service, Mr. Devashish Mitra, Vice President, ICAI, Mr. Gaurav Jain, Chair for ICAI's Chicago chapter. Friends, I'm very pleased to be part of this very special occasion for the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India to inaugurate their 40th overseas chapter at Chicago. As the President mentioned, ICAI is one of the premier and largest accounting bodies in the world, and therefore is encouraging to note its growing presence in the United States. I think the professional competence and contribution of ICAI members in economic and social development in different parts of the world is well recognized. I understand that your global footprint today spans across 43 countries. As the President and the Vice President of ICAI noted, I think it's heartening to note how the organization is intensifying its focus on global best practices and how it is leveraging technology to take the profession of accountancy in India to new heights of excellence. And so far as Chicago area is concerned, we of course welcome opening of the chapter here, and I think it will be immensely beneficial for ICAI members based here. But more importantly, the Chicago chapter with other US-based chapters will help ICAI in maintaining a stronger relationship with the professional accountancy organizations and regulators in this country, and will help promote its own credentials in North America. I also wanted to point out that government has recognized the overseas chapters of ICAI at par with other apex trade and industry organizations such as CII, FICCI, and ASSOCHAM. And the consulate looks forward to collaboration with you all for purposes of economic engagement, consular facilitation, attestation of commercial documents, and so on. As my colleague mentioned, Mr. Mahavir Singhvi mentioned, I think ICAI's overseas chapters can indeed play an important role in boosting Indian economy by promoting foreign investment and supporting export of services. More broadly, the accountancy profession needs to become more proactive and vocal in support of corporate social responsibility, environmental preservation, and sustainable development. And again, I'm very happy to note that the organization is developing suitable audit indicators in this regard. All these areas are very critical, not only for us, but for the future generation. And they will also contribute to the overall objective of realizing the Atmanirbhar Bharat mission. As you all know, the core objective of the mission is to build greater national capacities so that we can make a stronger contribution globally. Let me now briefly cover India-US relations and our priorities in the coming year. I will also touch on the US Midwest region, which this consulate covers. If you look at the landscape of India-US relations, it has consistently moved forward over the past 2 decades. The relations enjoy a strong bipartisan support in the United States. Our countries enjoy wide-ranging cooperation, and it would not be an exaggeration to say that our cooperation today touches almost every facet of human life. The trade, investment, economic, and commercial linkages are an important component of the multifaceted partnership between our 2 countries. The quantum of bilateral trade in goods and services was almost $150 billion in 2019. The year 2020 naturally saw a dip due to the global pandemic, but trade levels in 2020 reached 2018 levels, and we expect sharp resumption of growth in our bilateral trade this year. The United States is our largest trading partner and major destination for exports of goods and services. With the new US administration in place, we are looking forward to further strengthening and deepening the India-US relations. I believe that there will be 5 key baskets where we can expect closer cooperation. One is, of course, a strategic part of the relationship which builds on the existing framework of cooperation on political security and defense issues. In March 2021, there was a Quad summit with President Biden, Prime Minister Modi, Prime Minister Suga of Japan, and Prime Minister Morrison of Australia joining in. There were important discussions on how the four democracies can work together to confront some of the pressing global challenges. We reached important understandings on new and emerging technologies, climate change, and health challenges. A second key basket of issues would be climate change, environment and renewable energy, especially solar, and looking at initiatives to promote sustainable greener economic growth. At the recent climate change summit held earlier this week, Prime Minister Modi and President Biden unveiled an ambitious India-US Climate and Clean Energy Agenda 2030 partnership. The third basket is health-related, pharma, healthcare, COVID-19, and vaccine development. A fourth category is the digital space, the ICT sector, and the startup space, which will both, in a sense, disrupt and transform our lives. We have already seen how the pandemic has fast-tracked digitization in several sectors of the economy. And the last but not the least would be higher education, research, and innovation. The US Midwest has several top-ranked US universities, and there is great potential to deepen linkages with Indian universities, particularly in the backdrop of the new national education policy unveiled last year. Chicago in particular and Detroit have emerged as premier startup hubs in the US when it comes to applying digitization processes to manufacturing and looking at B2B solutions. Overall, I think if you look at our relationship with the United States, people-to-people relations remain at the core of this partnership. Professional organizations like the Institute for Chartered Accountants of India can play a key role by leveraging its vast network of professionals in advancing and deepening this partnership as we mark India at 75. The large, vibrant Indian American community in the United States has also been a source of particular strength. Before I conclude, I would like to once again congratulate the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for its initiative to open the Chicago chapter. We wish the Chicago chapter all the best in coming months and years ahead. On our part, the consulate in Chicago will look forward to closely working with you all and would be happy to facilitate ICAI's endeavors in Chicago. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us here today. The Chicago chapter of ICAI looks forward to a continuing and fruitful relationship with the consulate. And with that, the moment that we've been eagerly waiting for is here, the official launch with the ribbon cutting ceremony to inaugurate the Chicago chapter. Can we have the video up, please?
Anamika, back to you.
Thank you. I would now like to call upon our founding chairman, CA Gaurav Jain, to come and say a few words, please.
Thank you, Anamika, and thank you, everyone. Dear fellow CAs, President Nihar ji, Vice President Devasis ji, His Excellency Amit Kumar ji, Joint Secretary Mahavir Singhvi ji, and all special guests and various support teams that have made this day possible. Welcome. We are honored by your presence and the launch of this chapter. The journey began last year. With all the hard work and blessings, we have reached this moment today. For us, it is like a part of India that has come to be with us. It is a bittersweet time though. We are seeing how COVID-19 has been ravaging humanity and spreading misery around the world. And as we see that happen, we are seeing never tiring response from our first responders, our defense forces, our governments, and doctors and medical personnel. They are all our heroes and deserve our salute. Sometimes it looks like we are losing the fight, but I strongly believe we will come out stronger and more resilient. And it is at this moment that we as professionals must step up in every way we can. Switching gears, establishment of the ICAI was the first step in this direction to bring in standards in accounting, audit, finance, and taxation. Since then, we have come a long way. CS have helped organizations grow into multinationals, started companies, run governments, and write laws. And today, establishment of this chapter very much symbolizes the commitment that ICAI and we, the chartered accountants in the Chicago region, have shown towards the profession and progress of mankind. I'm humbled that the team has chosen me as the founding chairman and will do all I can to support our causes. We have an excellent team here, and together we plan to do many great things in near future. Getting our members reconnected, having CPE-based sessions for spreading knowledge and understanding, engaging with community, lending a helping hand, and work with the CGI and Government of India to fulfill the ICAI's mission to bring more investments and trade to India to contribute to India's self-reliance, just to name a few. As we begin this journey, I invite you all to walk with me. With increasing presence of ICAI worldwide, we chapters will work together to bring more synergy to continue to build brand Indian chartered accountants and, for more importantly, India. Finally, I personally thank CA Mudit Vasishta and CA Shiv Gupta for all the help they have given. Have a good day. Thank you. Over to you, Anamika.
You're on mute, Anamika. Yeah.
Thanks, Gaurav. And for any of the ICAI representative offices or chapters in the US, the name WISH is not new. After establishing the first ICAI chapter in SFO, WISH helped many more ROs and chapters to be established in the US. He has co-founded TaxSlayer, to our constant inspiration and the pillar of support, CA Wish Arunachalam. Would you please say a few words?
Thank you, Anamika. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Great. I'm honored to be representing the San Francisco chapter of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India at this grand launch of our ICAI Chicago chapter, the sixth chapter of the ICAI in the USA and the first in the US Midwest. It gives me tremendous satisfaction to witness the inaugural of the ICAI chapter in Chicago in the august presence of our esteemed special guests and distinguished speakers who have virtually assembled from different parts of the world today. Team ICAI San Francisco is proud of its role establishing the ICAI chapter in Chicago, a proud city with a proud history in this part of the world. Year 2020 was an extraordinary year for all of us. Entering the virtual pandemic-induced new normal in 2020, our ICAI USA team worked tirelessly in uniting the 4,000 plus chartered accountants who live in various regions of the USA. Our San Francisco chapter was established in the year 2017. With the guidance of our dynamic leadership at ICAI, we have successfully expanded ICAI's footprint from one active chapter in San Francisco as of April 2020 to 11 offices across the USA by end of the year 2020. This was made possible by the enthusiastic leaders and volunteers who joined hands from various parts of the USA. ICAI is present in 44 countries. In under a year, we have made the USA as the country with most number of overseas offices of the ICAI. I would like to inform the gathering here that our ICAI Dallas, Texas chapter is slated to be inaugurated on May 22 under the leadership of our ICAI President Nihar Jambusaryaji. ICAI Dallas will be the 7th chapter in the USA and 41st overseas chapter of the ICAI. We have just begun our journey of uniting in America. We aim to create economic opportunity for every member of the US-based CA workforce, and we plan to have at least one ICAI office in each of the 50 states in the USA by the year 2025. Fighting the pandemic has shown us the importance of working together across borders for taking on such challenges. We CAs were famously called as partners in nation building by our people's president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and we are in a unique position to enhance the India-US relations through strengthening the CA Connect from North America. Today, we have connected over 2,200 US-based CAs through our ICAI USA LinkedIn group and we have also established vibrant regional groups that keep our members well connected around the year. Our members are able to help each other during the times of crisis, for professional information exchange, for career guidance, and for working towards greater good for our fraternity. Through our ICAI network in the USA, we have enabled participation of our US-based CA leaders in international conferences and brought visibility and recognition to our accomplished CAs who continue to reach greater positions of influence in various regions of the USA. Thanks to the announcement by the Ministry of External Affairs last year, granting us the at-par status similar to CII, FICCI, and ASOCHAM, our chapters in the USA have gradually increased their engagement with Indian consular missions in the USA. We are eagerly awaiting the establishment of ICAI USA National Office in Silicon Valley in the coming weeks. Through the ICAI USA National Office, we hope to work with our Indian consular missions in extending our support to the US-India strategic partnership and cooperation. Our US-based ICAI chapters have a hotline with our ICAI headquarters in New Delhi and the larger global network of overseas ICAI offices in 44 countries. We are excited about upgrading Chicago as a chapter in that list. I would like to extend my special thanks to CA Vikram Vaid and CA Neelam Chaurasia of ICAI New York chapter for their role in bringing our Chicago-based members together when the Chicago representative office was initially formed in July 2020. It has been a pleasure to work with the founding members of ICAI Chicago chapter led by CA Gaurav Jain, CA Hemant Kumar, CA Hema Santana Krishnan, CA Dhirendra Singh Kushwa, CA Anamika Roy, and CA Sarita Devaraja. I wish them the very best as they embark on a great journey in bringing our CAs in the Chicago region together to interface with our CAs in the rest of the world. During the past couple of days, India has witnessed the biggest ever single-day jump of new COVID infections, and the healthcare system is overwhelmed with this dire situation. Our hearts go out to the frontline healthcare workers and officials during this unprecedented crisis. Let us pray for the safety of our people during this hour of crisis. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vish. I would like to now introduce our first guest speaker, Ms. Dory McWhorter. Dory prides herself being a socially conscious business leader and is committed to creating an inclusive marketplace by leveraging a cross-sector approach of engaging business, civic, and community partners. Prior to joining the WCA, she was a partner at Crowe Horwath, one of the largest accounting firms in the US. She also held senior positions with Snap-on Incorporated and Booz Allen Hamilton. Dory serves as a board of directors for Lifeway Foods, William Blair Funds, and Skyway Concession Company. Dory is also active in the accounting profession, having served as a member of the board of directors of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and is the current chairperson of the board of directors for the Illinois CPA Society. Dory serves as a co-chair of the advisory board of the First Women's Bank in Development. Over to you, Dory.
Thank you. And it is just such an honor to be with all of you today. I just am not only thrilled to be here, but just want to congratulate you. I know you've heard many words of congratulations, but I just want to add mine because I do think that what you all are doing is absolutely amazing and will be one for the history books as the 40th chapter of ICAI. So just you've already given a little bit about my background, but as I am here today, I'm just, have such a warm heart, but I know that it's a little heavy, as we've already talked about a couple of times, as we continue to watch the impact of COVID. But please know that my heart is so with the people in India, and I just pray that we continue as a world to defeat COVID as best as we can. So thank you all for giving me the opportunity to spend time with you. So as was mentioned, this past year I've served as the chair of the board for the Illinois CPA Society, and I had the pleasure of representing over 22,000 members across the state of Illinois. So we look forward as a membership to continue to partner with you as we support the profession of accountants. And so in addition to serving as the board chair for the Illinois CPA Society, I also have had the pleasure of serving on the board of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and was part of the board when we transitioned through a merger with SEMA. There's so many acronyms here. I know you all as accountants are used to it, but as the AICPA merged with the Certified Institute of Management Accountants to form another AICPA, which is the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, trying to get everybody in there so no one is excluded. I guess, but just to be on that journey and process just gives me such a great perspective on how we can continue to partner as one profession around the world. And having said that, at this moment, I really just listening and hearing all that you all are accomplishing by forming this additional chapter of ICAI, I was reminded of when I started my career. I like to say in the late 1900s, so it feels like a long time ago, almost 30 years ago, at Arthur Andersen, and which you all know is a Chicago-based global company at that time. And one thing that really resonated with me that Andersen did was talk about one firm, one world. And I think about that as we continue to expand the profession and continue to see just the global nature of our profession and how we look to continue to represent that within the different regions around the world. And so having ICAI here in Chicago, I think continues to fulfill that thought process around how we as accountants are absolutely bringing excellence to the profession, regardless of where we sit. And I feel so honored to have ICAI in Chicago to continue to represent that thinking. You know, so during my time as chair of the Illinois CPA Society, you know, as you all know, they allow you to pick a theme or a focus. Well, I sort of threw them for a loop. I decided that I wanted to have my year as chair to be marked by what I called CPAs are the superheroes of business. Now, no one usually puts accountants and superheroes in the same sentence, but I know how important our profession is to business. And I know that we've mentioned the pandemic and the state of the world over the comments that we've heard today, but I do think it's important to recognize that as professionals and as accountants, what we've been able to do, whether it was support small businesses or large businesses, help people to understand their financial options, whether it's tax credits or various financial and economic supports. Accountants have also been I hesitate to say on the front lines in the same way that we know our healthcare workers were, but absolutely accountants were there to make sure, and I know many of you were there to make sure that folks could have economic sustainability during these times, because we know that it is not only a financial crisis, it is an economic crisis that we're going through. And I just wanted to remind all of us just how important our profession is at this time. And so I talk about the different data points that we have relative to the work that accountants have been able to do over this past year. But I think now with you all starting this chapter, I have a new data point that shows just how amazing you all and forward thinking you all have been to launch a new chapter in the middle of a pandemic and bring us together in this way to continue to focus on how we can continue to support the profession, to support business, to support our individual members at this time. I think is nothing short of remarkable. So also qualifies you in that superhero status. You know, when we look at the profession, I do think that there's so much that we do that people often don't understand, because we often sit behind the scenes. But I do think it's really important that we continue to bring our work to the forefront, to help to be there to provide insights, whether it's on policies or practices in the accounting profession. I really resonated with the earlier comments I had heard as you all started this amazing event about how even in the there's so many words for it, whether it's ESG or conscious business, conscious capitalism, whatever the case may be, but how we essentially are also active in creating greater social impact. And I want us to remember that none of those things are mutually exclusive, that we can be amazing accountants and professionals and bring our economic perspective to the forefront, but we could also improve the world as we do so. So I wanted to just share one final remark with you or comment with you before I let folks continue and share their amazing remarks as well. But I wanted to share with you a letter that I wrote at the very young age of 11 years old that I think still resonates to this day, even though I'm way past 11 at this point, but thought that these words would resonate, particularly as you launch this new chapter. So the letter goes, "Dear Santa," yes, I wrote it to Santa, do not judge me, but the letter goes, "Dear Santa, how are you? You'll never believe what I want for Xmas. Just 3 simple things. 1, to make everyone alive today be okay. 2, to give me a little something like a picture of you to show people you are real. If you have a picture with you now, please give me one if possible. 3, This is a big one. What I want is for you to ask my parents if I could be their accountant for 1 month. It won't cost them a thing. Well, maybe a few $100s, haha. I just know I could do it. They can trust me. I just know I could do it. Please ask them for me. If they say no, please ask them to give me an explanation why or why not. I could start January 1st, 1985. Please have them see me for more info. Thanks, Santa. Love, your friend, Dory McGee at the time. P.S. I left you a sucker. Write back, please. So I share this note with you as one for hope and inspiration in the fact that as an 11-year-old child, that I could do two things that are really important. One, make sure everyone alive today is okay, which I'm still trying every single day. And two, to be an accountant. So in an 11-year-old's mind, those two things were not mutually exclusive. And I have to tell you today, in a 47-year-old's mind, those two things are absolutely continue to go hand in hand. And I just think by you all being here today is just another example of that. So with that, I just want to extend my welcome and welcome to Chicago ICAI. I love celebrations, so I wish that we were all together in a different way, but this will definitely do. And I just look forward to working with you and continuing to advance the profession. So thank you again for having me here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dory, for your kind and motivational words. I would like to now introduce our next speaker, John. John Kimpert is a seasoned executive consultant with over 35 years of experience in advising chief financial officers, finance executives, and boards to raise the effectiveness of their leadership capabilities, financial operations, and governance structures. Currently, he is the director of the CFO Leadership Council. Prior to CFO LLC, he was a partner of Deloitte and spent 30+ years with Deloitte helping companies on corporate governance, people, and processes. Over to you, John.
Thank you. Thanks for that very kind introduction. First of all, I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of your inaugural meeting today. And I wish you a lot of great success. Forming professional organizations and bringing people together really creates a lot of energy. I've seen it with the CFO Leadership Council, the energy it creates from the connecting of people, the success from sharing and contributing to each other's success really makes a big difference. And so I would just encourage everybody to take full advantage of the chapter in the overall institute as well, because you will gain much from both contributing to other success, as well as what you will derive from it as well. So congratulations to everybody. Hope you have a great success story as the years go on. I think we heard a lot of different comments from some of our speakers about working together, the forward look at the profession, and the ongoing challenges we face right now. And, once again, it speaks to working together, which is what your organization is all about. As noted too, I had an opportunity, just a wonderful opportunity to meet and spend time with other CFOs and to learn so much from them. And, what we all have seen is in here, this is getting more complicated. Accounting standards are getting more complex. Reporting timelines are becoming more compressed. And certainly that creates challenge, but what I have always encouraged everybody to do is to think about how important that tells you finance and accounting is, the value you bring to the organization, whatever the organization is that you're a part of, is becoming much more important because of all of these things we've been talking about. So let me share with you maybe just a perspective, and I've gained this from talking to other CFOs, as well as from the CFO Leadership Council, which I'm a part of. And I'll take it and throw it into three baskets for you. The first is technical skills, the second is mentoring, and the third is networking. I've kind of touched on the networking piece already, but I had an interesting meeting with 20 of the top S&P 200 corporate controllers. So these are some of the biggest companies out in the United States, global organizations in many cases. And we talked about, as a corporate controller of a big global organization, what's really important to you to be successful? And they said, number one, people. Without the people, nothing else happens. We know that. And so we explored, what were the technical skills that you need to be really successful? What do you look for in the people? And they said a couple, they fired them off very quickly. Number one, strong technical accounting and finance skills. Number one, they got to have that. And it's all about the complexity of what's going on. They said adaptiveness, changing business models. We heard some comments around this already today. Deeply knowing the business, and even to say, you got to know your customers and why they find value in your company, right? And so there's a theme here, which is everything starts with these technical skills, and it builds on other things that are about you as a person, how you look at the business, how you interact with the business. And so they went on to say, it's about more forward looking today than it is about looking back in the rearview mirror. What's going to happen? What do you anticipate? Having strong interpersonal skills. Then they went on to say, systems thinkers, people that know how to connect the different pieces of the business and understand how it all comes together. Are data savvy. What's the information we need and how do we turn that into insights? So people that have great pattern recognition skills. And then finally, they said, it's all about building people. I look for people who build other people and create a sense of followership around themselves. Will people follow you? So these are some of the really critical skills. They're all technical skills. Some, of course, are the accounting and finance ones we've talked about, but many of them are those personal skills that really make you a leader and kind of continue to go on in your career. So the other two things I touched on was, one was mentoring, of course, and they all these individuals said mentoring was super important to them. They actually said, look for mentors who are going to not only give you advice, but actually challenge you to the next level, right? So it's not just, yeah, you're doing a good job, keep doing it, but actually understand how to stretch you and challenge you. So choose some mentors and find the ones that are going to help stretch you and challenge you. And then I think finally what they said, it's networking. And that comes back to what we're talking about today, the launch of your chapter, why it's so important, and the value that it brings both to the group and to each of you as individuals is forming a network that you can build those skills I talked about so that you can be successful and you can help others to be successful as well. So I'll end with that. I want to wish everybody success. Networking organizations like the one you're forming here are critically important for success. And some of the people that I've seen to become very successful are very active and engaged with the organizations that they've been involved with. So congratulations again, and thanks for inviting me to your meeting.
Thank you, John. It was a pleasure to have you here. Our next speaker is Shweta Ved. Shweta Ved has been recently elected as an alderman for the 10th Ward of Aurora, and she will be the first Indian American to be the alderman in 185 years of history of Aurora. She is an educator, community volunteer, information technology professional, and small business owner. She has been part of the Indian Community Outreach Board and has been actively volunteering at schools, colleges, and several other places for activities like helping food pantries, youth mental health, promoting STEAM, etc. Over to you, Shweta.
Good afternoon, Consul General of India, Mr. Amit Kumar, Mr. Nihar Jambusaria, Mr. Debasis Mishra, Mr. Gaurav Jain, Mr. Mahavir Singhvi, Mr. Vish Arunachalam, Mr. Hemant Kumar, Ms. Dory McWhorter, Mr. John Gimbert, and other guests. Thank you, Anamika, for beautiful introduction for me. I'm Shweta Baid, and I recently was elected as alderman for 10th Ward for Aurora. Aurora is the second largest city of Illinois, and the population is about 200,000 people. It has 10 wards, and I'm the alderman for the 10th Ward. The inauguration will be on May 11th, and that's when I go for the swear-in ceremony. I'm very happy to be part of this inauguration today of Chicago chapter of Chartered Accountants. The chapter is being formed with the idea of having a common forum where the members could meet, exchange views, and interact professionally with other members. I'm thrilled that it will also provide an ideal opportunity to the members to reach out to each other. The profession of CA places itself in a position to provide business for managing momentum of economic activity based on the domain expertise in accounting, auditing, and financial management. As we can all foresee high growth of economy and increased reporting requirements, the need for the finance and accounting executives is immense. A wide range of opportunities are available to CA in the fields of business, national and international taxation, and corporate advisory. I'm sure that the Chicago chapter would be very vibrant and active, and I want to extend my best wishes and congratulations to all of you, and thank you for having me here. Please, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, and if you have not got the vaccine, please let me know if I can help you in any way. Get vaccinated. Thank you, and congratulations once again.
Thank you, Shweta. And we're super proud of you and best wishes for your new role.
Thank you. Thank you, Anamika.
Yeah, thanks. We would now like to play a short video introducing the ICAI Chicago Managing Committee for 2021. Dhiren, can we have the video, please?
Good morning, Chicago, and greetings to everyone around the world who joined us to grace us this special occasion. I am CA Hema Santanakrishnan, working as a financial analyst in a multinational company. I'm also a member of ICAI. I am honored to be the secretary of this chapter and looking forward to work with this dynamic group to accomplish my roles and responsibilities. Happy New Year to you all, and stay safe and healthy.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining on the inauguration of ICAI Chicago chapter. I am Dhirendra Kushwaha, working as a financial controller in steel manufacturing company. I am also a member of AICPA and IMA. I look forward to working with core team in Chicago chapter to help members of ICAI in the Midwest region. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Anamika Roy, CA from the 2005 batch, and I'm currently working with a global insurer as an AVP internal audit. I joined in the efforts to establish a local chapter of the ICAI in Chicago because I wanted to give back to an institute that has helped me become who I am. Why I chose to volunteer as an events director is because I'm a people's person, and being in this role will afford me with the opportunity to interact with my peers from the industry and will allow me to fulfill our vision of providing this chapter with a platform for our members to interact with one another. We have an ambitious goal of hosting fabulous events, networking and educational, all virtual for now, but we soon hope to have in-person events when the pandemic gets better. So be on the lookout for our events, and till then, stay safe and stay well.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarita Devaraja, Chartered Accountant from 2006 batch. I worked under various capacities of consulting and operations management with Infosys and Axis Bank. One of the many reasons why I chose to act as a membership director is to help our fellow members. with all their membership related queries and to support them in a timely manner. I'm pretty sure having all this up-to-date information will help them. I'm excited to be part of this. I'm looking forward for the great success of the ICAI Chicago chapter. And thank you all. Wish you all the best.
Back
Thanks,
to you,
Dhiren.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we come to the end of our program, I'd like to now call upon Hemant Kumar, our Vice Chairman, to conclude the event with a vote of thanks to all.
Thank you, Ramika. Thank you for wonderfully conducting this inauguration. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. For introduction, I'm Hemant Kumar. I did my CA in November 96 batch. I worked as a CFO of a global medical device company and based here in Chicago since 2013. Today is such a memorable occasion for CA fraternity, and especially for the members of Chicago chapter. I remember when Mr. Vikram Ved from New York chapter reached out and talked about forming the Chicago CA group. Instantly, I would say within 3-4 days, group had 100 plus members. So that shows the breadth and the reach of the members here in Chicago. At that time, along with Mr. Vish Arunachalam, we decided to form the rep office. And the current management committee, which you met today, came together to get the rep office formed and announced on July 4th, 2020. Since then, the management committee has worked tirelessly to convert the rep office to form the chapter. And I'm so happy and excited to achieve this moment of inauguration today. Thank you everyone for your support today to get to this point. Now, at this moment, I would like to thank CA Mr. Nehar Jambusaria ji, the president of the ICAI, and CA Mr. Debasis Mitra ji, vice president of the ICAI, for their vision and efforts to increase the global visibility of the CA fraternity. Thank you, both of you, for your guidance and leadership for achieving such a feat. I would like to thank Honorable Consul General of India, His Excellency, Mr. Amit Kumar, for taking his valuable time to speak at this occasion. Sir, thank you for your time and support to the CA community. As Mr. Nehar Jambusaria ji said, we look forward for the continued engagement with the consulate, as well as so many chartered accountants in Chicago are at your disposal to meet the mission of your consulate as well as the country. I would like to thank Joint Secretary of Ministry of External Affairs, our own Mr. Mahavir Singhvi ji, for his time and support to the CA community. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank Mr. Vish Arunachalam, without whose support we would not have been here at this moment. Sir, thank you for your guidance and support from the day of group formation to all the way to chapter inauguration. We look forward to work very closely with you to make CA a more visible force and a stronger community in USA. I would like to thank our speakers, Ms. Dory McWater, Mr. John Gimpert, and Ms. Shweta Bed for their valuable time and insights on how the CA profession has partnered with them in the past and how we can continue to do so in future. I would like to thank International Affairs Committee for the approval of Chicago chapter. I would like to thank Mr. Shivji Gupta and Mudit Vashishta for their continuous support. I would say that from the very start of the formation of rep office to all the way to the chapter formation, both of these gentlemen have provided us a tremendous support. And thank you, both of you, for doing that. Now, I would like to thank our members of the Chicago chapter who came forward to help form this chapter. Thank you for all your support in doing so. I would also like to thank the chartered accountants in CA group whose continued support and engagement has kept our Chicago CA community interactive and live. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the management committee of Chicago chapter, CA Gaurav Jain, CA Dhiren Kushwaha, CA Anamika Roy, CA Hema Santha Krishnan, CA Sarita Devaraja, for their efforts to make this moment possible. Thank you, my team. members, for all your time, tireless efforts, and commitment to make this chapter possible. I thank you, all of you who are able to join us today for this occasion. Thank you for your time. I once again congratulate all the CA fraternity for formation of Chicago chapter. It is such a moment right now globally that I would like everybody to stay safe. I wish all of you healthy time ahead. And with this, I adjourn today's event. Thank you.